All right, part two, saws. Okay, so cutting, very important. Cutting wood for shelter. What in the heck? Is that up as high as it goes? No. All right. Anyway, for shelter, mainly for shelter, shelter and firewood. But so these are two different kinds of saws. They're pull saws. In other words, they cut on the pulling stroke. You're not pushing down on the forward stroke. You can push it forward as lightly or as gently as you want. It cuts only on the rear pull. So some people make a big deal out of that, like Wrangler Star. Well, a buck saw cuts coming in going. Yeah, well, put it up against a Silky, which he's never done. Not a good one. Not the equivalent of what he's using. He puts a 4-foot or 5-foot long lumberman's buck saw up against a 12-inch Silky, and the Silky does pretty good against it. So put it up against a 650 millimeter or 1,000 millimeter Silky. I can't wait till Nate should do that. I don't know if he has. Maybe he has. All right, enough of that kind of blathering. Just watch this video. Just shout out, watch the stinking video. I'm just going to go through it quickly, okay? So the handles are both curved. That's good. That's the way you want them. The sheaths are highly different in quality. You can see by the shiny part on the back of the blade, the Silky on the bottom, the black handle, is much thicker. He says it's about 30% thicker. That means a lot stiffer cut. Silky is 30% thicker and heavier. Weight is quality. Okay. It is much more dangerous to saw fast with the samurai saw. It's 30% thinner and easily binds up in inexperienced hands. This is critical, and he hammers on this, and I'm here to tell you, it's beyond me why anybody that has any kind of claim to be any kind of expert, and Cody Crone is, I mean, to me, I have no idea why he is recommending this samurai, other than the fact that he's selling it. Nate says, I'm not recommending the Silky because I sell it. I'm not advocating it because I sell it. He says, I sell it because I advocate it. He believes in it. He said, I believe in it. I advocate it. Okay, so number one, your biggest difference is full tang. If you do not have a full tang blade, you do not have a knife. You do not have a saw, period. It's a cheap imitation. It will not last very long. It will not survive. And if you're betting your life on it, you're not going to survive. So don't get anything, knife, saw, anything, with a handle where the blade goes in only an inch or so. You can see that thing goes in a little over an inch. Those are not 4 different screws. Those are 2-part screws, so they both are held together with 2 screws only. But you can see the Silkies are about, I don't know, they probably weigh about 3 to 4 times what the screw system on the Samurai Ichiban does. These are both 330. The 330 is a designation, millimeters, 330 millimeters. The Silky bolt is much larger, holding full tang blade fast to handle. Okay, you can see where they go in at the opposite ends of that. That's another thing, just that alone, the difference in distance between those two, and I'm presuming that the 2 inner ones are probably stabilizer pins, I would bet. I'm not sure of that, but because he doesn't take this one fully apart. I don't see the Silky taken apart, but if those are 2 stabilizer pins and the 2 bolts, this thing is like 10 times stronger than the Samurai. Okay, the 2 little screws on the upper part there, the silver things, versus the 2 huge, gigantic, beefy ones. I would say, like I said, those screw systems, there's probably I would guess easily a factor of 4 times the weight and mass on those screws. He put them in a lid here, put salt in it, he dunked them and pulled them out, let them dry out 50 times, 50 times. Nobody's going to do that to their knife, but if you're buying something and you want to bet your life on it for a period of years, decades perhaps, what if you never come up with another saw and you have a couple or 3 spare blades? and you know how to take care of it and oil it and keep it from rusting, you know, you've got a lifetime heirloom tool, which Wrangler Star believes in. He's constantly talking about heirloom tools. Well, the Samurai is not an heirloom tool. So in this scene, he is showing that he's put them both in, and then he shows he has just dunked the Silky in and pulled it out. It's pretty shiny. The other one is, and he said the rust on the Samurai is not superficial. It has done massive and deep corrosive damage and basically destroyed the blade. So that's in a matter of a few days. 50, like I said, he did 50 immersions, let them dry out. You know, the Silky is pretty much untouched. That's the Samurai bending it versus the Silky, probably with about the same tension, I'm sure. It's 30% thicker. I mean, you would assume it to do that. Okay, so that's it. Very important. Cutting is critical. 5 C's, like I said, you know, cutting, container to, you know, stainless steel container to boil water in, cover, poncho, wool blanket. Great to make a poncho out of a wool blanket. That's going to keep you warm, keep you warm if it gets wet. Even if it gets soaking wet, it'll still keep you warm. You can use it as a sleeping mechanism at night. So cutting, cover, container, combustion, and cordage to tie the poncho shut, to rig your sleeping tent up. You know, poncho can be your cover, wool blanket can be your sleeping bag, whatever. So 5 C's of combustion, no, 5 C's of survival. Look at Dave Canterbury, Wilderness Outfitters, you know, the Outfitters Supply and all that. He has many videos on that. He's probably the best one I would recommend to go to. I like him. Good guy. He's done a lot of TV shows, survival shows. He's Sling Bow, you name it, he's done it. And good stuff, really good stuff. So, all right. And I'm not knocking Wrangler Star, Cody Crone. I mean, he's in Beyond Off Grid. Nate says he does a lot of good stuff. He says I absolutely respect him. He says he's top quality videos. I mean, in 2013 or 14, Wrangler Star got the top YouTube award in the entire world. I'll say that. But he's done a lot. They've done a lot of gimmicky, you know, clickbait garbage, and you know, he's rolling in the dough, presumably. I don't know. I think he could do more. Anyway, I don't know. Enough said. He does good stuff. He has a lot of good things to say, and Nate says that flat out. Recommends him. You can learn a lot from him. I've learned a lot from him. Anybody can learn a lot from him. You know, he's just got his quirks, like nobody's perfect. Okay, so and on this thing, he's wrong, flat wrong. I mean, he's just flat bent out of shape wrong on this saw. So I'll go with Nate on this one. So Nate, Canadian Prepper, shout out. 2 thumbs up there. 2 thumbs up for Cody Crone, except on the saws. Bad. So anyway. All right, on this one. And it's just a monetary deal, you know. I'm going to sell this one, so I'm going to say it's better. Well, it ain't better. It's a piece of junk, you know. Nate says it's a good saw. It'll last a long time. It's not going to last as long as the Silky, and it could snap, and it could hurt somebody. And the blade is not full tang. It's not a survival saw. I wouldn't consider it even a survival saw. I'd consider it more of a, you know, a home tool as opposed to a professional one. That Silky Zubat is a professional tree trimmer's tool. You call 100 tree trimmers and ask them if they use Silky saws, and probably 90 of them will say absolutely, and it's the best thing I've ever invested in my life. Ask them if they have a Samurai, and they'll say, what the hell is that? So, there you go. That's about it. Enough. All right, thank you. This is Jerry Diamond, How to Get Out of Babylon. If you're listening to this, you're the Remnant. See ya. Bye-bye.